Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I really hope you had a spectacular weekend and you were able to relax a little bit. For today, we are going to review the Ruth Bader Ginsburg assignment and then move on to the question of the day and then a special guest. So, first of all, I just want to review with you briefly this assignment. Reminder, this was worth 10 points, so if you haven't submitted it yet, please do for a late grade. It is important that you submit your work that is due. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and submit your work. The first question is down here, and I'm just going to scroll here, and as I look, I'm going to clip this out for a second. It asks you to describe Justice Ginsburg's impact on the Supreme Court and the nation. Most students did a really fine job of going back up to this very first section right here and pulling out the important things right in this area. It lists some of the things that she did and describes her style of decision making. So she is described as a liberal, and she is described as someone who was for progressive causes. And some of the examples they gave was that she wanted to eliminate gender pay gaps. She wanted to allow same-sex marriages. She wanted to allow the right to vote for people, for all people, and she also wanted to allow women into the military. Those were a couple of the examples that they gave in this article. You could probably find others, but those were a few of the examples. The next question was a little trickier. This is the one that kids had a little trouble with. What effect is Ginsburg's death likely to have on the makeup of the court? Well, let's go up to this picture. First of all, there are 9 sitting justices on the Supreme Court. And when you are a Supreme Court justice, you make decisions on different court cases, and that then affects the decisions on laws from there on out and what happens in other court cases. So the president, as we know, gets to nominate the Supreme Court justice, and then it is approved by the Senate. Or approved, or I guess denied by the Senate. Confirmed, I should say. And so we can see that they describe each of these justices by either being a conservative or a liberal, a conservative or a liberal. So President Trump is a Republican. He would be considered a conservative. He is going to want to get another conservative on the justice team. He will want someone that votes the way he thinks and the way he feels. And let's be honest, we would all do that, right? We want someone to be voting the way we think and we feel, which is why when there is an upcoming election, as there is this November, people want the president to have to wait until after the election because some people would like the president who gets picked to be able to choose the next Supreme Court justice. So there is a debate there because some people want President Trump to be able to go ahead and nominate the next Supreme Court justice, and some people say, wait a minute, we should wait until after the election so we can let the next president, whoever it may be, to pick that next position of Supreme Court justice. Also, you should note that Supreme Court justices stay on the bench until their death or they choose to retire. So it's a long appointment, and it is something that allows the president's legacy to live on because that person is going to represent his thoughts and his beliefs as a conservative or a liberal. So that's why it gets a little controversial this year. And by the way, boys and girls, this is not new. This happened when President Obama was leaving office and President Trump was coming in, a similar circumstance of needing to nominate another justice. And it was a little controversial then too. People wanted President Obama to have to wait, and President Obama wanted to be able to nominate someone. So this is not an uncommon situation in politics. Question 3, who nominates the Supreme Court justice? Well, to answer number 2, we kind of had to answer number 3, and that is the president with confirmation by the Senate. And then number 4 was simply a opinion question, so we'll let that one go. Just wanted to review that there are 9 Supreme Court justices, and the person who is nominated next will be voting in a fashion of either being more conservative or more liberal, and that is something the president wants to have a say in, whether it's the president who's there now or the president that gets elected in this November election. Okay, back to our agenda for the rest of today. We're going back to our primary and secondary sources, and so we are going to remind ourselves, what are primary and secondary sources? Last week, Ms. Richards went through this with you, and she helped you to understand the difference between primary and secondary sources. So you can go ahead and remind yourself and go ahead and jot down some examples of primary sources and some examples of secondary sources, 3 of each. You can either use Miss Richards' examples, or if you have any of your own you want to add in, you may do that. And then after this, you'll be introduced to a special guest for the day. So boys and girls, make sure you're good listeners for your special guest and that you enjoy the information to come. Have a great day. We'll see you Tuesday.